Okay. Excuse me. Good day. It is morning time. Now, for me, you might be watching this at any point, but I'm just waking up. So, hello. I'm getting my voice, finding my coffee. I'm going to wait for people to pop on so they can join me live. My family is here. Um, we live in a yurt, intimate and small, and we do have one little. Hey, welcome to my home, and welcome to uh, this live video. 7-day practice challenge, day 4. Day 4 is an interesting day because you can begin to feel this how the ebb and flow of your practice life is. Like, for example, I committed to leading these for 7 days, and now I really feel sort of the push in the challenge of how to actually make that a regular thing. I got to sleep in a little bit, which was awesome. But then I was like, oh, I got to do a video right away. And so here I am showing up for this video right away, even though there's a little bit of push and pull to my desire to do the video. Of course, I want to do the video. I say probably the same thing. Of course, you want to practice. Of course, you want to do what you're committed to, but it can be challenging sometimes to do it. And so really it's an act, it's an art of showing up. So many things that we do in our lives is an art of showing up. Are we going to show up for the things we want to do in our lives? Are we going to show up for the things we committed to? Are we going to show up for our family and the people we love who need us? Are we going to show up for our friends who are having troubles or need us to be there? And the art of showing up. All right, we got someone here. Say hello. It doesn't look like it tells me who's jumped on. So say good day, good morning, and tell me who's here. And so we're here. We're talking about day 4 of our practice challenge and the art of showing up. It's interesting because we have these days that can be more challenging, traditionally can be more challenging, or they can be, a range that's more challenging. Oh, Tracy, good morning. Welcome. So yesterday on day 3 practice challenge, it was cool because we started with a small group for this challenge, a small group of 2, and we come back to more. I really have some lovely things to share today. And today what I'm planning on sharing is some practice tips. Now, this is very percussion oriented, so it's helpful if you play drums, but I'm sure that these tips apply to other instruments as well. You'll just have to adapt them. And so these are radical transformation tips. When my teacher was teaching me these tips, they just kind of were like, oh, do this, oh, do this, oh, do this. And I just kind of listened to them and did what they did, but it didn't quite sink into like, oh, I can do this myself when I'm practicing. And that's a helpful skill to have. Oh, we got a couple more people. If you're jumping on, just say hello in the comments because it doesn't tell me who's here. And I would love to know who's watching, who's popping in. The other tip that I have to share you is something that was like a radical transformation that I discovered myself. And I'm so excited to share it with you because it has been revolutionary in my ability to extend my endurance and extend my speed, things like that. Oh, Tara's here. Woohoo, Tara! So I feel like the people that are popped in here, Tracy and Tara and Jackie yesterday and Meg, you guys should all meet each other. Okay, sometime we'll make it happen. Maybe at the women's drum camp because I know people were excited. Tip spiel today. Feel free to just write in the comments and know that you're all just beautiful, wonderful people. And I don't know, as much as you can while being alone in your room, on the internet with other people. Oh, nice. Good morning, Jackie. Say hello to each other. I'll do a brief introduction. So Tracy is an herbalist. Tell me if I'm wrong here. This is the really quick supportive supplements. And she's also a wonderful woman who I believe used to live in California and has moved to Michigan. And she's been studying with me, I think, about 3 years. And she is going to be joining my new ensemble, Daughters of the Drum. So that's the quick Tracy intro. Tara is from Ontario. I talked about her yesterday. She is a Celtic powerful goddess woman. She's so articulate in being able to express how the drum is medicine and how we need it and what it has to offer us. It's amazing when she speaks. I'm so inspired. And Jackie is an amazing high priestess, herbalist, herbal extraordinaire, speaker to the plants, and beekeeper, and a wonderful mentor to me and to many other women. So hello, everyone. If you don't know each other, then now you know a little intro. Okay, back to practicing. So glad you're here. And Meg also, she's going to be on later. She's a high priestess, amazing archivist of women's spirituality and traditions. There's probably amazing singer. There's so many things about Meg that I'm just discovering. So that I get to learn and know over time. Okay, welcome. We're a community here. Oh, holistic nutrition. I just woke up, so hey, I'm making it happen. All right, for the sake of just listen in. You can watch this video later if you forget them. They're not that hard to do. So the first practice tip is when you're learning, let's say you're learning a rhythm or a piece or whatever you're learning, what we tend to do is get stuck or like stumble on a section, but we try to sort of move through the section and then sort of play. If it's, let's say, a rhythm, right? A rhythm just comes back round and round and round. We come back to the beginning and we kind of stumble over that section and come back and stumble, come back and stumble. Now, the interesting thing is our bodies are learning what we want them to do, right? They're learning how to articulate from what our brain says to what our hands are doing. So if we stumble, if we stumble on the same spot, kind of in the same way, like 3 or 4 times, you know what happens? What you want me to do there. And so what we really need to do, I like to think of it as, how like, I'm trying to think of a good example. The only example that's coming up to me is like if you were around when like we didn't have phones yet and you had to use like MapQuest to get directions to places and you had to print them out and you zoom like those old computers where you had where it is and then you like click it and it zooms in a little larger and a little larger, a little larger. It's sort of that image to your playing. So you find the spot where you're stumbling and you just kind of zoom into that spot and you focus on playing that little spot correctly and slowly. And sometimes you'll like, it's not the whole spot that's the problem. Maybe it's just like a little transition that's the problem. And so you zoom into that and you work on that a little more and more. And you find sometimes you need to build, I like to think of it as a bridge. You build a bridge from like this little thing to this little thing, which is the problem and where you keep stumbling, and you have to practice connecting those. Like after I do that thing, I connect it to here. So let me show you an example. I hope that's super clear. I'm working on this Italian tambourine technique, and I'll show you how I do that. So the general technique is this. So that's like the technique. Now the rhythm that probably is not clear because I am working with this pattern and it's not super in my body. So this is a great example. The rhythm of the rhythm of what I'm trying to play is or even so there's these accents. It's like 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, and that 1 2 1 2 doesn't really come out in my playing. So to focus on that, what I would do is I just take that bum, 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 trying to get that and accent little section. So I'm zooming in right now and I go, and you're like, oh, that sounds so terrible. That's how it's going to be, because it sounds terrible when you're zooming in on your problem. And so what I noticed is that I can do actually the ba-ba-da, ba-ba-da. Okay, I can do that. It's a little weird, but maybe needs some work. So if I just wanted to work on that, so I'm zooming in more now, I'm just going to work on that ba-ba-da, ba-ba-da. I'm going to play it over and over again. And I might play that for like a minute or two. So I set a timer and I'm just like, just playing that. Now, the other part of that sequence that I need to zoom in on is it goes ba ba da ba ba da ba ba da ba ba ba. So that ba 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 at the end. It's loud, soft. And you can hear how it's like kind of there. And so then that I would just repeat for 2 minutes and really focus in on that and get it in my hands and even slow it down more. If I can't get it at that speed, even slower. And to zoom it in even more, so you notice how I'm identifying the weaknesses and then I'm zooming into them. So what I noticed is I go ba ba da ba, and then that second one ba ba da ba ba. That one is like I have to accent it because my hand doesn't want to do it, so I have to make it louder so my hand makes the motion. So I go ba da da ba da. And in that one is because it doesn't. My hand wants to skip it. And so I'm making it louder. So my hand really has to make an effort to get that one. I don't want that accent there forever. It's a temporary thing I'm adding to make my body go, I want you to do that stroke. Okay. Then after you do that, you spend 2 minutes there and 2 minutes there and focusing on there. Then you can go back to the whole piece and see if you can do the whole thing. It's better, right? You hear how it's improved. It's not perfect yet. So that is an example of what you do that's really helpful. So the reason you do this is because it can make your playing your practice time so much more efficient. So instead of you start over at the piece and you get to that spot and you mess it up. Not only are you learning how to do the mistake more, you're reinforcing the mistake, but this will suddenly take a piece or a rhythm or whatever that maybe would take 2 weeks for you to get. You can get it in 2 days of just like 15 minutes of practice on it. But it's hard. It's hard in the way that you actually have to zoom in to where it sounds terrible. Right. And it's not like it's not egoically pretty. It's like hard to do because you're like, oh, this sounds so bad. But you're zooming into it and you're like slowing it down and making it better. So that is actually, I'm at 15 minutes. So the other practice tip I'm going to share for tomorrow. So as you practice today, and you come across any stumbling spots, what I like to do personally is if I am looking at music or I'm reading something, is I just make a little star or I circle them. So that way, if you don't feel like, oh, right this moment I want to dig into it, but you maybe want to incorporate it into your practice over time, or you want to make sure you watch it, so that way you know where it is. But really spend 75% of your practice, with warm-ups, really focusing on the areas where you're stumbling over things, really taking the time to smooth them out and really show your body what you want it to do. And then slowly working into, regular speed or into the piece. You might have to get this technique. It's a tambourine shake and but it's coming, you see little improvements. Some of the things literally it'll come together in one time analyzing it or just working on it. So just depending on what level you're working on and how difficult it is. thank you for listening. Try to see if that's a helpful skill for you to work into. Remember that as you go, it's going to help you so much. And remember to write in the comments when you practice today. I love seeing those. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to also write that in the comments. And I wish you the best of luck today. I think day 3 through day 5 can be the hardest days where you really have to overcome some things that might get in the way, like life gets in the way, and you might have to overcome those. So best of luck. I know you can do it, and have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow. Farewell and blessings. Bye-bye.